Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to The Lovely Grind. My name is Michael Preby, and my website is lovelygrind.com. That's where you're going to find information about my coaching, or you can sign up for my free monthly newsletter and read all of my blog posts. So I hope you'll check out lovelygrind.com, and I thank you for returning to my YouTube channel. Hopefully you enjoy all the videos here, and please subscribe and hit the notification button if you do, so that you'll be notified every time I put out new content. Again, thanks for being here with me, and I think you'll enjoy today's video, in which I'm going to share an entry from a journal that I kept during my withdrawal experience. And again, these journal entries are things that really give a stark picture of what I was experiencing on a physical, mental, and emotional level as I was working through Paxil withdrawal and tapering Xanax and going through the first half year or so off of all medications. And in my support and success members area, I share all of these journal entries. And much like I'm going to do today, after sharing them, I then note why they're interesting for others who are going through the experience and what the important teachable take home points are from each of these entries. So I really think that's great content that hopefully helps a lot of people. That's just one of the many things we do over in Support and Success, which is a super affordable way to find inspiration and encouragement for your healing journey. So click the link below to go to lovelygrind.com and check that out. I hope you do. And today here on YouTube, I'm going to share one of the journal entries from that, again, journal I kept during that period of time when I was getting off Paxil and Xanax and then just navigating those first months off of everything. So this particular entry is from a period of time when I had just jumped off of the Xanax and actually returned to work after having been on a bereavement leave because I went to my grandmother's funeral. I jumped off the medications right around the time when I got notified that she had passed away, because it seemed like the right time in my mind to get moving forward with the next chapter of my story. So that's what I'm going to read today. And this journal entry is as follows, and it's from Friday, January 17th, 2014. It says, yesterday the physical pain was almost unbearable in the evening. Leg, back, neck, head, and abdominal pain made it feel as if I'd been in a terrible accident. Today has been mental. Unable to think straight, focus, speak with people for very long, feel as if I'm going insane. I'm unable to get out of my head for a larger perspective, and I'm almost out of breath when trying to think. The feeling of unreality is bad. The feeling of not being able to learn a new task, hold a new thought, or maintain a normal conversation without someone knowing something is wrong is pretty bad. Day 2 at work with no medications. So, that's this journal entry that kind of focuses on my quest to try to maintain my sanity as I try to go through to the best of my ability and by the grace of God, the responsibilities of my day. What are the interesting points from this journal entry for others? Well, I think first is the physical pains I make a note of. And as some of you know, they can be severe, and it's really hard to describe those to other people. I make a note of some of them here: leg, back, neck pains, etc. And you don't always feel comfortable sharing those with others. You can't always feel as if you'll describe them accurately to others. But here, in the privacy of my own journaling, I'm open and I can say it how I see it. And I say that I feel like I've been in an accident. That's what it felt like to me at the time. So physical pains can be challenging. Another reason why this journal entry is interesting, as difficult as the physical pains are, it's the mental ones I make a note of that were really troubling me. And those are the ones that really give a lot of people the biggest challenge, because it feels so scary and confusing dealing with mental symptoms. And two of the overarching mental symptoms that I'm talking about here and that others experience are: one, a sensation of being stuck in your own head, so to speak, unable to focus on anything other than your own troubling thoughts and ruminations, okay? And two, general worries of losing it mentally or just losing your mind. Those are two things that a lot of people go through with regards to mental symptoms coming off of benzos or antidepressants. And those are two things I was also going through here in this journal entry. And finally, an interesting point to note from this entry: despite the strange and painful mix of physical and mental symptoms I was experiencing, I was back at work after having taken that bereavement leave for my grandma's funeral. And trust me when I say this, I did not look pretty to others. This was not easy. I wasn't the employee of the year at this time. And maybe I'll share in some other videos, there were quite a few complications that I ran into working during this time, but also in the end of the day, I feel it was a good thing for me. So by the grace of God, I found a way to do it one day at a time, suffer through it, then do it again the next day. Okay, I know not everyone's working, but this is how my story played out. And I'll share a bit in the take-home points about why I think that's important. So the take-home points. What lessons might you be able to learn from this journal entry? How might it help you if you're going through antidepressant or benzo withdrawal? Well, one, journaling helps. So if you haven't already begun journaling, I suggest you do it. That's one of my suggestions. And obviously, I'm someone who enjoys writing, so maybe something like that comes a little more naturally to me, but I'm not some expert journaler. I'm just like everyone else in that respect. It feels weird at first, and there's no perfect way to do it, but I think it's important because, again, we feel as if we're hiding a lot of the time in withdrawal, as if we can't share the experience with someone. We can't talk openly. And even to the one or two people we can maybe share openly with, we don't want to all the time because we don't want to wear them down. So journaling is a good way to get some of that stuff out of our head that we're experiencing. Describe it in whatever terms we want to. And it's also a good way to set goals and make a note of improvements too, which I talk about an awful lot in my members area and also on these videos. Making a note of any and all improvements, super important. So if you haven't started journaling, do it. It will help you to get through this process. Another important take-home point from this journal entry that hopefully will help you along your journey: find a way to stay grounded, so to speak, mentally and emotionally. When a person is going through these strange symptoms, it's far too easy to get led down unproductive thinking tangents, go down scary rabbit holes of rumination and successively anxiety-producing thoughts. It's far too easy to go down those roads. So we have to find a way to, instead of getting more confused and scared and drawn within ourselves, to stay grounded mentally and emotionally. And we can do that by focusing on simple truths, simple phrases. When you're feeling scared, things such as "I am not a bad thought," or things such as "this too shall pass," which you've probably heard before. Things like "if I care for myself, the end result is feeling better." Just these simple phrases and truths that can help a person to simplify and stay focused on one particular thing. You can say these over and over, write them over and over when you're not feeling well to stay grounded. Also, you can focus on simple truths and promises from God, scripture verses. As someone of faith, my faith and doing that sort of thing help to keep me mentally and emotionally grounded and help to keep me sane when I felt as if I was losing it. Another thing that you can do is obviously talk to loved ones or to a professional, counselor, coach, or whatever, to stay grounded emotionally and mentally, to maintain your sanity while you're going through this. And finally, things like breathing exercises, meditation, physical exercises, those help as well. And a final take-home point from this journal entry that I think might help you along your own journey is to find a way to keep yourself positively distracted. And that's important because if we don't do that, again, it's just all too easy to sit alone with scary thoughts, anxious feelings, troubling sensations or pains, and to ruminate on those things and worry about those things, and then they grow in stature the more we focus on them. But on the contrary, if we can find a way to shift the focus and stay distracted, put our attention on something else, even for a short period of time, that is always going to prove helpful. And that could be any number of things. Small projects around the house, going out to run an errand, engaging someone else that we trust in a short conversation, getting out to a coffee or tea shop for a little bit, just getting to a church for a little while, going to a library, any number of things to keep yourself distracted in a positive or even neutral way that's not harmful. So, like not going online and researching symptoms, that's not a helpful method of distraction. But there's many helpful and sometimes even very healthy methods of distraction, and that's always going to be beneficial to engage in those. And this brings me back to what I mentioned earlier in the video, why at the end of the day it turned out to be pretty important for me to work as I was going through the worst of my withdrawal. And again, I made all the use of sick leave I could. I took some early leave days. I didn't always look pretty to everyone at work, I know for a fact, and I wasn't always at the top of my game. But I felt I had no choice, so I really pushed myself to do that at the time. And at the time, I thought it was just the curse, the bane of my existence. I thought anything would be better. I could heal faster if I just didn't have to go to work. But I can guarantee, I talk to people in different scenarios, and it's really hard to keep your mind occupied and fill up a day going through this withdrawal process if you don't have any form of work that you're going to, even part-time for a couple hours. Some people do like Uber Eats deliveries for a little bit, for a couple hours a day to keep them occupied or whatever. And if it's not work, again, just find something to get you distracted in a positive way, and preferably out of the house for a little bit each day, just to get your attention away from the same four walls and the same things that you're always worried about and focused on. I know from experience it can take a lot of nudging to get ourselves out the door, right? It can feel like we're crawling off to war to even get out the door and do something simple. But once you're out and you've done it, it will be beneficial for you. So push yourself to do that and find ways to stay distracted in a positive manner. It will be helpful. I hope you've enjoyed this journal entry and the take-home points from it. Again, you can find all the journal entries, and I'll keep releasing more and more along with all the other content and features I have over at Support and Success. So you can click on the link below to join that today or find out more about it. I hope you'll sign up for my free newsletter. I hope you'll click thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and also subscribe to this channel and click the notification button so you'll get all my videos as they're released. My name is Michael Preby. My website is lovelygrind.com. Until next time, please remember to take care of yourself and your dreams.